What is chance? This category expresses mainly external, contingent, inessential events. These are phenomena that are subjectively unexpected and objectively extraneous. There are phenomena that in certain conditions may or may not occur, that may be of one or another kind, whose existence or non-existence, or existence of one or another kind, is based not in itself, but in something else. These are external chance events. Intrinsic chance events, on the other hand, are events that have been stirred up by necessity itself, by variously oriented forms of its manifestation. External chance is beyond the demands and power of a given necessity. It is determined by extraneous circumstances. A person steps on a banana skin and falls over. Here we have the cause of his fall, but it does not follow from the logic of the victim's actions. He might not have fallen. He is the victim of the sudden intervention of blind chance. In general, both necessary and chance consequences arise from people's actions. One can be blamed only for the necessary consequences of action. Only they are connected with the nature of the action itself, and they alone could be foreseen. All events that we sometimes lump together under the heading of bloody-mindedness, such as the slice of bread that falls butter side down or the bus that comes late just when we are in a great hurry, may be considered examples of external chance. They are so-called coincidences. Chance may be favorable or unfavorable to a person. For example, in war more than anywhere else, things turn out to be different from what we imagine. When we see them close up, they look different from how they appear at a distance. The architect can calmly observe a building going up according to his plan. Or the doctor, although he has to reckon with a great number of chance and unknown influences in his work, does know exactly what effect certain drugs will have. But war is different. The commander of a large military unit is constantly at the mercy of waves of false and true information, of mistakes caused by fear, negligence, haste or obstinacy, due to correct or incorrect notions, evil intent or a false or genuine sense of duty, laziness or exhaustion. He is besieged by chance events that no one could possibly foresee. One and the same event may be necessary in one relation and accidental in another. For example, a baby girl is born. Is this a case of necessity? In relation to the final result of the development of the embryo? Yes, but from the standpoint of development of the given nation or of world history, it is a chance event. Sex mutation is still one of nature's secrets. A single mutation is the expression of necessity of certain physico-chemical processes in the organism. But in relation to the organism and even more to the species, it is a matter of chance. In reality, therefore, any phenomenon at one and the same time but in different relations may be either necessary or accidental. The necessary carves a road for itself through an infinite number of accidents. Chance introduces an element of instability in law-governed processes, and this is expressed in the category of probability. Why does necessity manifest itself in the form of chance? It can come about only through the individual, which is molded by an infinite number of circumstances, all of which leave their unique stamp on it. Accidents influence the course of a necessary process, accelerating or retarding it. In the course of their development, accidents may turn into necessities. For example, the regular attributes of one or another biological species originally appeared as accidental deviations from the attributes of another species. Such accidents give life and perspective to necessity. The chance phenomenon may strike us as something necessary or even unavoidable, if the space-time dimension in which it occurs is narrowed while we observe it, and if an increasing number of circumstances have to be taken into account. If we tackle certain events from a distance, a road collision, for example, may be regarded as accidental. But let us suppose that there was ice on the road. Two cars were traveling towards each other at high speed. One of them skidded. Neither driver could do anything and the collision was inevitable. Chance is closely related to necessity. To understand whether any event was necessary or accidental, we must consider the whole set of conditions that gave rise to it, and when the given conditions and relations are taken into account, the possible outcomes are often narrowed down from two or more to only one, and then we can say for certain whether an event occurred of necessity or by accident, and what was necessary or accidental in that event. It is important in practical and theoretical work to take into account the dialectics of chance and necessity. No one should bank on chance, but it is foolish to ignore favorable opportunities. A good many discoveries and inventions have been made thanks to lucky coincidences. No matter how cleverly a bold operation is planned, there must always be something left to chance: fire escapes, life and property insurance, additional medical personnel at holiday times. All these measures are taken to counteract the effects of chance, of accidents. Scientific work never ignores the factor of chance events, even when they play a secondary role. The main goal of cognition is to discover laws, but to do so one must analyze the specific form of chance in which the necessary manifests itself. Through the investigation of various individual cases, scientific thought moves towards discovery of the underlying, law-governed element. In science there are laws that reflect necessity almost in pure form, the mathematically refined laws of classical mechanics, for example, but there are also propositions that reflect both the necessary and the accidental alternatively. At the same time there are propositions that embrace necessity and chance as a unity. To predict a solar eclipse, astronomy abstracts from the accidental and takes only the necessary. But the forecasting of historical events involves both. For example, acceleration or retarding of historical progress sometimes depends to a great degree on subjective factors, including such chance elements as the character, health, or talent of the people in charge. The task of science, and particularly philosophy, is to detect the necessity disguised as chance, but this should not be taken to mean that chance is merely a figment of our imagination, and should therefore be ignored wherever possible so that we can perceive the truth. There are certain general needs, for example, the need for food, drink, clothing, etc., and it appears to be largely a matter of chance how these needs are satisfied. The soil may be more fertile in one place than another. Harvests may differ from year to year. One man is diligent, the other idle, but this very chaos produces general principles, and facts that appear to be unconnected and disorderly are guided by necessity, the uncovering of which is the task of political economy. Confronted with a mass of accidents, it reveals their underlying laws.